Welcome back to the Third Wheel Podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Matthew, back again for another episode, a wonderful episode. I encourage you to watch the entire thing.
Well, unfortunately, Shaps will be out for a little bit, and I will also be out of town, so our schedules weren't lining up. So today, we got my brother on, Matt, who has his own channel, Calvary's Cave. If you're interested, check it out.
A quick note on Calvary's Cave. I am actually going to be joining with my wife, and her and I are going to have separate subsections to the same channel. She's going to be working on mixing cocktails for her side of the YouTube channel, and at times, when I get back to it, I will be recording gaming. More specifically, I'd like to get into horror games. If that's something that y'all would be interested, feel free to check the link in the description.
I will take care of that. Wait, so what games are you going to play then?
Well, if I could afford them, I would probably think all of the Resident Evil games with the exception of the first one because I am deathly afraid of spiders.
Really, spiders? That's
Yeah.
the one that's going to stop
Yeah,
you?
that'll stop me. And the first game has giant spiders.
For the life of me, I can't do puzzles. I cannot.
Oh.
And the first one, the puzzles are so hard. They're the hardest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
The first game is
Yeah.
rather disrespectful when it comes to figuring out those puzzles. And they also have fixed camera angles, which
Yeah.
I've always hated in any video game. So, like, you'll be walking down the hall, and then, like, the camera will switch on you. And every single time that the camera switches, the controls for where you're heading switches. So, like, let's say you're pressing forward, then the camera switches.
Yeah.
Pressing forward is no longer going to take you forward. It's
Yeah,
going to start
taking
moving
you backwards.
Yeah, taking you
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. The first time I tried to aim in that first one, it was awful. Like I couldn't.
You can't aim.
There's no aim.
There is no aim.
Like
You're
headshots.
like,
Good luck.
You have to eyeball. Like, is
Yeah.
the gun pointed directly? Now,
Yeah.
lucky for you, you don't have to aim up and down. You just have to, line up where the
that is
zombies
true.
are.
That is
but,
true. But like if you're going for a headshot, you can't really go for it.
no, you can't.
No, you gotta hope you get lucky.
You'd have to be a
So.
speedrunner with like a dumb amount of hours in the game to like understand how it works. But for me, not worth it.
Have you already played them all?
I've seen them all.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But as far as playing them all, no, I haven't. Though I would love to, and when I get the chance to, it'll be on my channel.
Well, I played the second one all the way through, and it wasn't. It was really good, but I couldn't do the puzzle part. I did the shooting zombies part.
No, I mean, like, I don't want to be just stuck to horror. I mean, there's a bunch of titles that I do want to play. And there's also some phobias that I can't get past. Like, if it has anything to do with spiders, which RE1 does, that's a game that I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
Or I hate the sea, the ocean, so you're not going to catch me playing Subnautica. If that's a recommendation that I get in the future,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
I am
yeah,
not
yeah.
doing it.
Wait, which Resident Evil is it? The 8th one that has the underwater part? Was there an underwater part in the 8th one?
Yeah, there is
Yeah.
one, but you don't like actually go underwater. There's
Yeah.
just a giant fish.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
I have the same problem with the 4th one. There's a giant salamander.
Yeah.
that you have to fight in the middle of a lake and throw harpoons at him.
Where
But,
there's this game called Stranded Deep. Have you heard of it?
No.
Yeah, it's supposed to be survival game where your plane crashes and then you have a one life raft, but then you get the closest to the nearest island and then you're supposed to chop down trees, make stone weapons. It's almost like The Village, just without all the enemies. I don't know if you've seen The Village.
No, I haven't seen that either.
Okay, or maybe it's
but,
The Forest. Sorry, The Forest.
No.
Okay. Worst gaming channel ever.
I know. I mean, I don't want to be just limited to horror games.
Yeah.
Like, for example, love the God of War series.
Yeah.
And so I have not the first one because I hadn't started a channel back then, but I did record my entire playthrough of
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok. And
How'd that
I
go
really
view-wise?
well, for absolutely next to nothing subscribers, 22 views isn't crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
So,
I was just curious. Like, so I guess we're all over the place, but I'm kind of curious. Just picking a game that's hot off the market doesn't guarantee you views, I guess, huh?
Nope.
Yeah.
No,
So
it did not.
It's oversaturated, I guess?
I would assume that it's overly saturated, but I also think that you need to play the long game. Now, that's not necessarily true. I know that there's some oddballs in there. Like, for example, I came across a Minecraft channel, right?
Yeah.
He only has 8 videos and hundreds of millions of views. And it's like, he has like very wacky thumbnails or captions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Good editing.
I wouldn't even say good editing. It's just that he knows what the audience wants. You know, he was like, I drained an entire ocean, and here's how I did it. You know, and so it's even though it's one of his 8 videos that you know. There's a lot of success in it. So it may have something to do with the algorithm that I guess he just understood. I mean, for people like us, maybe we just don't understand what that algorithm is at the moment.
The ever-elusive algorithm.
Yeah.
No. I mean, sometimes we'll talk about hot topics, and that'll get us some good views, but other times, no. Sometimes people don't care. But I feel like if I was more reactive to, like, what's going on now, and then I was like, oh, this just happened, and I did a video on it, that'd be cool. I just don't have that time. I just don't. I mean...
Yeah, that's true.
Because you're doing school, you're doing and working. So I don't know. Where are you gonna find time for all
school,
this?
full-time work. I'm on the grind now to lose weight and gain muscle.
Yeah. And why is that, Matt? May I ask?
Am I allowed to say? Well, actually, you know what? I'm just trying to get a summer body. You know, I'm going on a cruise and I want to look good, even though I'm married. But you know, it just
we're getting
good.
We're getting fit for my wedding, like essentially.
Yeah. Because I don't want to look bad in those wedding photos.
Yeah,
you know,
me neither. Like, this time last year I was skinny. I was real skinny last year. You know, but I get hungry, so and food's really good.
Food is really good.
Yeah. So
my problem is that I have a sweet tooth. I can't get rid of it.
I can't portion control to save my life. I'll eat 5 burgers from McDonald's, and they're so good.
Portion control is a little difficult for me.
And a shake.
And a shake.
Because I want something sweet with it.
Yeah, I know. It's the sweet tooth. It kills me. Like, if I go to McDonald's, I need to have their Sprite.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do to their Sprite.
Joe
just
Rogan
burns my neck in the right way.
Joe Rogan did a bit where there's a way that Coca-Cola tells you to store your soda and how to serve it, and McDonald's does it to a T. Whereas other restaurants, they won't do it a certain way, certain temperature, certain storing ways. Like, just depends on how they do it. McDonald's just follows the regulations completely, so it tastes the best it should. So
it is. I don't know. There's something about it that, like, for example, if I ever go to Taco Bell, I have to get that Baja Blast, or else it's not Taco Bell anymore.
I don't like the Baja Blast. I never did.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, no, it is. Like, that's my most controversial moment here. So, but do you remember when it came out? Weren't we kids when Baja Blast was at first a thing?
No.
Oh.
It's just always been there for as long as I can remember. It's just,
I guess I started remembering way before you did, I guess. So, like a year or two.
It's like 4 years.
Yeah, I guess. But so what got your wife into the drink mixing stuff?
She's an alcoholic.
I'm not cutting that out, by the way.
No, it's a joke. I mean, she does appreciate alcohol, and she wants to learn. Like, one of her dreams is to start her own business with me. Yeah. And you know, us brainstorming, we were like, well, what do we enjoy? And she was just all like, I would love to open a bar. So it wouldn't be like, oh, this is her teaching you how to make cocktails. This is her on her journey to learn how to make cocktails. And eventually that would turn into, you know, her hopefully one day opening a bar.
Yeah. No, I say I got my retirement stuff in recently, which I showed you. I showed everybody. And I'm like halfway to retirement already, and I'm only 28, essentially, or almost halfway.
Wild.
Yeah, I'm pretty close to close to halfway to retirement. And I was thinking, like, well, what am I going to do with all the extra time? And I was like, I might enjoy bartending. So I was like, maybe I should start practicing now. That way, by the time I go to get my license, I'm like a super quality professional. So
yeah, I mean, you can just take like I think it's called barology. I'm not totally sure. Take a course on mixing drinks, which is what she wants to do too, for her birthday. Well, was it her birthday or Christmas? Either one. She got a couple of books on mixing cocktails, and I think she's gonna use that book.
I would say, what kind of books? What kind of books? I'm kind of curious.
I mean, it's just like a cookbook for cocktails, and so she hasn't really opened it or done anything with it yet. Yeah. But my assumption is that she's going to use that book to, you know, figure out how to make drinks.
I was kind of curious because I want to get into it. So I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I want to get into. I was going to do improv comedy at one point.
Well, speaking of which, there's this one YouTuber that I like. I don't necessarily watch his videos, but I do watch his shorts, you know, on YouTube Shorts a lot. And it's this guy in like a little top hat or something. He's just got a hipster vibe, and he just mixes the most outlandish things in alcohol for a week, or until something interesting happens, as he likes to say. A little catchphrase that he said. He's got like 30 catchphrases, but anything from Jolly Ranchers to Nerds gummy clusters to a whole McRib into some vodka for a week, and then seeing how it tastes. And he actually enjoyed the way the McRib.
Really?
Yeah, he was just like, that's oddly, it shouldn't taste like this.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe he's going for the Bloody Mary type thing.
Maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe, but apparently he enjoyed it. He didn't even like take the McRib out of it. He the whole sandwich, as is, stuffs it into a jar, pours it full of vodka. Yeah, and he's so crazy that he pulls the gnarly McRib out, and he was just all like, well, he takes a bite out of it. He's like, whoa.
Sounds awful.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
But he does have some like really cool ideas, and I'm wondering if I should experiment with something like that. Not to completely rip off his channel, because I wouldn't do that to him. But
does your wife have an idea what she wants to do then? How she wants to go about filming it? She just want to film the glass, you think, or should?
No, I think she wants to show her in the process of doing it, because she's rather comedic, so I think she might be able to.
That is true. She's hilarious.
Yeah, I would just say that she might have some jokes that she wants to spit at the camera, like while she's making the drinks, and I think that'll be a part of the culture that she's going to be building. Now, she was wondering if she should start her own channel, or if she should do it on mine, and
how do you
we'll
feel?
Just see how it goes.
Yeah, how do you feel sharing the algorithm?
Well, she's a Calvary too, so why not be part of Calvary's cave?
Yeah, for real. In this cave, we shoot video game videos and we mix drinks. Jack of two trades.
I mean, for example, Moist Critical, I know I bring him up a lot every single time that I'm here, but he's not centered around just one avenue.
He's really not.
He's got like something like this where he's just talking to the camera, telling you about some drama that he just heard about or some weird text. But then in the next video, he was like, today we're going to be ranking the top 10, or like we're going to be making a tier list on Taco Bell items.
Yeah, he does the tiers. He does he has a podcast too.
He'll show some highlights from the Moist Esports.
Yeah.
So who's to say that I can't do it with my channel? I mean, he's revolutionized his channel, so why not give it a shot and see where it goes with it?
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm a little tied as far as school and work goes, and probably when I'm done with my bachelor's, I'll probably go for my master's as well. So I'm not sure how much free time I'll have then.
Yeah.
But it all depends on what my new job will be at the time. Making YouTube videos is a little bit difficult when you got a whole life outside of it too that you have to handle.
I mean, I only just now figured out how to put two cameras side by side in the editing room. Put two angles next to each other for a podcast format. So I only
they take time. It took like what a little over a year for you to start changing some formatting and Not that it makes it bad.
No,
but
another thing was
experimenting.
I didn't have any of this stuff like these cameras that we're working with now. I didn't have them until I started dating my fiance. So once we started dating, she was like, "Here, take my DaVinci Pro," and then so she gave me Pro DaVinci. And then these really high-tech cameras right here. Like, this is ridiculous.
DaVinci Resolve is actually a very nice piece of software.
Yeah.
I do love using it.
Yeah, and it's like, goodness. So, I don't know. You got the free version or you got the full?
I got the free version, but if she has the full, then I can only imagine what tools that you have at your disposal.
Yeah, I mean, you can AI generate subtitles now, which is fantastic. Now, they're not always clean as AI it is, but or isn't, I should say. But I mean, you can go in and just manually fix it, but it does the bulk work for you, like the bulk, like transcribing, and then here it gives it to you in the right format to where you just upload it to YouTube, and it works. So, yeah. With that being said, though, it's still a lot of work, even with all the AI stuff and, like I said, audio transcription. That's nice and all, but it's still so much, and it's so much I'm learning. It's a big learning curve. So I don't know.
AI itself, I think, may evolve to the point where we don't need the editing portion. It may just know how to do that. But, I guess we can enjoy our jobs while we have it now.
I know.
AI is getting a little out there.
I don't know if they'll ever do AI security, but, I mean, who knows at this point? I mean, it could. But
AI-generated passwords, and we won't know what they are.
Yeah, so we'll see. But anyway, I don't know. Where do you want your channel to go? Do you think you want to keep doing video games, or what else are you thinking?
I mean, yeah. Vlogs are every genre YouTube is already saturated. So vlogging, maybe if I have kids, it'd be like,
family channel. Yeah.
Not necessarily a family channel, but like dad's tips.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like that might be fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's other stuff I want to do. People keep having their own theories about the YouTube algorithm, but I just don't know how much I buy into it. Like they say, like, well, if you do everything on one channel, then it messes up the algorithm. If you want to do your games, your podcasts, all that stuff, or your React stuff, we've been dipping into more reacting lately. So, like, I don't know. Like, what do you, it's
if YouTube would just one day tell us what the algorithm is, so we could figure it out ourselves. But it's just a guessing game at this point.
I know.
No telling how well it would do.
And, like, most people just get lucky. That's what I'm kind of waiting on, is just kind of getting lucky and getting my big break. I just don't know if that'll ever come. But, I mean, we're growing, and I'm very happy with, like, our subscriber count and numbers and stuff like that. I'm very happy with it. But at the same time, like, sometimes it's a lot of work and sometimes there's no payoff. Like,
yeah, you're right. If I was on the grind as much as you are right now, then, who knows, maybe my channel wouldn't be so stagnant at the moment.
Well, people complain about the algorithm, right? Because they say, like, that people that are already established, they'll do their own, like... I
feel like it's an excuse to stop trying.
Yeah.
They're just all like, oh, it's so saturated. You'll never make it anywhere. So why even bother?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, because, like, here's my thing. If you're making videos, your fans are going to come watch them. They're always looking anyway. Now, to not discredit them, like, it's true that when you post a video now, the YouTube notification system's all jacked up. It doesn't pop up on your feed like it used to. Like, that's true.
What people don't understand is that YouTubers aren't there forever.
Yeah.
And there has to be a next wave. There has to be a new generation to take those people's places. Yeah. A lot of big YouTubers are retiring. They're done. They've done the grind. They have what they want in life. And, they're ready to move on to the next step. Now, a lot of people are saying that, there's just so many YouTubers out there. Not all of them are going to make it.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to quit a lot sooner than others. And I think to be able to ride that wave of the next generation that's coming up, is kind of important to securing your spot.
And I just think that kind of makes room for us, too. Like, as more people, more big heads decide to quit, that'll give us more room to grow and more people to come to our stuff. But right now, the algorithm very much favors YouTube Shorts, and that's what I've been really posting my stuff to. So that's why I'm always trying to get the camera quality better. The only problem is YouTube Shorts compresses the heck out of your videos. They look like crap. Like that,
Yeah.
This is high quality camera work, and it's still going to make it look like your phone did it.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't get it, but this is how it's going to be.
I mean, I was playing around with that on my channel. I don't know if there's any way to fix it, but,
if you find it, let me know. Sheesh. Because, like, I mean, if there's a way to get it where YouTube won't compress it, or even with it compressed, it still looks okay.
I think I made my face, like, too small on my channel. I put it, like, way in the corner. You can barely see it. I'm putting on this camera. It's like this little dot right here.
Yeah.
And then I see, like, Jacksepticeye play, and it's got this giant chunk that's taking up, like, a lot of the screen.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you that may be confused,
why
there is another person.
Matt, why'd you get here so late?
I just drove in from Southeast Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We got 40 minutes left in this episode, and now the third party has entered the chat. I'm so excited.
Who's the third wheel now? Is it him or the audience?
I think it's rock, paper, scissors or fight to the death. Who can take the best hit off of that vape? That's what I want to know.
It's probably me.
I don't vape. So.
I would say you're just gonna say no. So, but it's all good. But anyway, Matt, how was your drive?
Yeah, Sunday afternoons on I-45 they suck.
Yeah. Oh, they're terrible.
Like it. I was wondering, like, is it also spring break this week?
Oh,
There was a lot of traffic on the highway.
I was gonna ask you. So we just got done talking about like our second jobs after retiring. So I got a letter in the mail saying I'm almost halfway to retirement. Right.
Dang. Okay.
So right, that's pretty good. I was talking about getting a second job after and then getting 2 checks. I brought up bartending. I think that would be a lot of fun for me. Matt, his wife is getting into bartending as well, and she wants to do a YouTube channel on it. But what are you going to do post retirement? That's what I want to know.
I haven't thought that far.
Really? You're usually the one that plans this really far ahead. I'm kind of curious. You don't have anything?
No, not that far.
Okay.
Maybe I'll turn one of my hobbies into a
Yeah.
job or something.
You're
I
not
don't
thinking about photography or nothing, turning that into something you're going to do? You're going to start selling your portraits,
know. Maybe
landscapes?
I do landscapes.
Yeah.
Not portraits.
I want to open a forge.
A forge?
Yeah.
What are you going to make?
Like knives, swords,
I know,
shields.
I know what's in a forge.
All of the works. I want to do all of it. It's
I'll
so
buy one.
interesting. And yeah, American made.
Can you do a Damascus?
Maybe you want to
Of
make
course.
forks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forks? Come on.
Choosing the steel would be fun. Getting to layer them,
Yeah.
sharpening them, and then selling this little knife for $1,100. Like, it's not a bad
Yeah.
not a bad gig. The only problem is not many customers are willing to pay that much.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe I might be able to sell it to a dealer at Scarborough Fair.
When I have old retirement money, yes.
Yeah.
I'll buy one.
All right, here's something we can all connect on now. Now that Matt and I'm sorry, I never introduced him. This is other Matt. Matt and
Yes.
Matt. Okay, Matt,
So
Matt,
now
my
that
brother.
we've gotten, the elephant out of the room,
Yeah.
or we've addressed the elephant in the room, how are we gonna address which Matt we're talking to here?
Yeah, I know.
Do I just go by who you're looking at the time?
I don't
Matt.
think I don't
Matt.
I don't think I'm gonna need to be like Matt and Matt. I'm just gonna be. I'll look at you and you'll know. And then whoever starts talking, that'll be it for the audience.
How
So,
about B, C? Huh?
BC?
Huh?
Okay,
Huh?
whatever.
All
Fine.
right.
All right, fine. All right.
B.
B and C. This is for both of you. We all watched the live action One Piece. Okay. Now, B, I'm going to ask you. Sorry. I'm going to ask you, B. You haven't seen the anime.
I saw episodes as a kid, probably back on Toonami or whatever it is. Probably like the really censored version.
Yeah.
The 4 Kids dub.
Yeah.
Oh, so bad.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so let's address. There was a 4 Kids dub. I'm sorry. C, will you tell us about that?
The 4 Kids dub, it was a bunch of corporate overlords that wanted to buy the property, and they're like, we could make this into a kid's show. And they totally forgot about everyone's backstory, and like they cut out a bunch of main characters that'll come back way later in the story. And
So hold on.
they've ruined the story so bad that they cannot fix it.
Yeah.
It
Didn't
is-
they turn one guy's cigarette into a lollipop?
They did. Sanji doesn't smoke cigarettes anymore. He
Yeah.
sucks on lollipops.
Sanji's the cook, so they
Okay.
took his cigarettes out, and then because B has seen the live action. Let's get that out the way. You've seen the live action, but
Yeah.
not really the cartoon. Like you're familiar, you know.
I know
exists.
it. I know it exists.
Yeah.
I know it's 1,000+ episodes,
Yeah.
and it's still going.
It actually hit the 1100 mark,
Yeah,
and I'm still
Just
watching it to this
die.
day. I'm reading it,
Just
and I'm
die.
very proud.
just die. How dare you?
yeah, no, just
Okay.
die already.
Well, I mean, where the story is now, they are wrapping up. It's time. The story has
Yeah.
been told.
And that's
They're
season
entering.
one.
Oh yeah,
Well, in your
That's season
opinion,
one.
it's going to be done in the next 2 or 3 years.
I believe so.
And you're talking about the manga. The anime's
The
got to
manga,
catch
yeah,
up.
the anime
Yeah.
will be a while.
Yeah.
And probably like what Naruto did, as soon as that last chapter came out, they put like 30 filler episodes in before that last episode. They really just wanted to milk it. Now, I don't think One Piece is going that route.
Yeah.
But on the bright side, they're recreating the show. Viz Media and Netflix are, or was it Wiz? I forget. But they're remaking the entire anime. However, it'll be as the manga intended. No filler.
Yeah.
Just,
Just
as
cut
it was
to the case.
yeah, just cut to the chase.
Yeah.
So in amount of chapters, it was about 100 chapters for East Blue, and the first season for this new show that's coming out is only 24 episodes.
Yeah.
So they're really condensing it. And it'll be updated animation for the people that are like, oh, it's too old for me.
I know
So
you're
I'm
excited about
really
that.
excited. Yeah, I'm very excited. I want to see what they pull out. It's the same people that made Spy Family, if you've ever watched that,
Never.
or the creators of Attack on Titan, or the people who animate Attack on Titan.
So it's going to be real animation.
Yeah, real.
Because, like, I won't say it was holding me back from enjoying the initial first few episodes of the anime, but I will say, like, it does get a lot better when the animation improves. And another thing I'm noticing is the up and downs of the quality of the anime.
Yeah, typically for like more important scenes,
Yeah.
that's when they'll hire the real artists instead of the ones that they, basically forced to animate. They're just all like, I don't care how tired you are. We're going to be working 40 hours today alone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we're going to
So-
pay you cheap for it.
Yeah.
And so that's where you start getting that really bad animation.
Yeah.
And then they'll hire how do you say it, the real artist to
Yeah.
like come in. They're going to pay him like $2 million to do like a quick 2-minute scene.
Yeah.
You know?
So transitioning to the live action part, I had to talk B into watching it because he really wanted me to watch Star Wars' Andor. I
Yes.
didn't want to watch it, right? Because I just didn't care. Like
I heard it was good.
it is.
Like, I still say that's peak Star Wars.
Yeah.
Peak, at least Disney Star Wars.
I hated Rogue One for the record, and so a whole show spinoff based off a character of a movie I didn't like. I just didn't see the
No,
value.
okay. I see that. I see that too. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, they're making a show after that guy from that movie I forgot about.
Yeah,
I was like, no, whoa,
yeah, no.
this
And-
this show is.
and it's quality. But anyway, that's beside the point. I made a deal with B here that if I watched Andor, he would watch the live action One Piece, and Andor felt so much longer.
It was a couple episodes long.
Yeah, and they were all a full hour each, whereas the Netflix show, I believe, makes room for commercials that aren't in 40
Yeah,
minutes, right?
right.
So I got done with the live action, and that's what really got me into regular One Piece, because the live action was really good, and it got me introduced to all the characters and some of the major beats of the anime, and so that's when I started watching One Piece. But Matt, you didn't get quite the same sentiment I did watching the live action. B.
No, I thought the live action was enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to use the word good because I don't know if it is good compared to the
Okay,
regular.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I found it as someone that doesn't really know anything about One Piece. Found
Yeah.
it kind of enjoyable.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
You know, short and sweet, to the point.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, it's only a fraction of the actual
Yeah.
show. But
We might actually spoil the live action then because it's been out for a while. And
It's been, I think, like 6-7 months or so.
Mhm.
So if you haven't watched it, that's tough. You
Yeah.
should have got on the train.
Spoiler warning now. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Go ahead.
Luffy finds the One Piece.
Yeah. And then I was shocked. Let me tell you, they really cut the crap on that one.
the real One Piece was the friends we made along the way.
Oh,
I
please.
was surprised when he pulled his head off and said, "This was the One Piece the whole time, my treasure." But no, I liked it a lot. You can see where they not cut corners as far as laziness goes in production, but you could tell where they cut corners on the story. I mean, I don't know. Did it not get you excited at all to like try the anime? Nothing.
If it was a completed series that isn't 1,100 episodes,
Yeah.
yes.
But what if it was a completed series that was 1,200?
No.
No.
If it was like 100 episodes,
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no. No matter how much they abridge it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have a limit to any show length. I'm just like, whenever it's like so long, I'm just like, okay, this show needs to wrap up and resolve.
Now, a lot of the times it's a bunch of like side characters that don't really mean anything. So I feel like if they recreated the show and they clipped some or like got rid of some of the characters that really don't add much to the story, I feel like that might be able to get it down to a reasonable
Yeah.
length. For example, you were in the Thriller Bark arc, but we spent a fair amount of time on the paintings on the wall,
Yeah.
or like the little pig
Yeah.
on the wall that was in charge of all the zombies.
Yeah.
You know, if we cut all of those guys out and just got the gist of what's going on, I think, it would have been a lot shorter. Even though they're in the manga,
Yeah.
why are they there still?
Right.
They're just taking up unnecessary space.
Well, One Piece right now is all about milking it. So, I mean, yeah. So I'm watching One Piece for our audience. I'm watching the fan edit that cuts out all the filler and kind of sticks it close to the manga with a few exceptions. They added like one filler arc that's considered very integral to the story as a whole. So I thought that was kind of cool.
So is that just a list of like episodes you can cut out, or did someone actually cut
Yeah,
episodes?
they
Okay.
cut together
So
episodes.
it's actually a big
Yes.
effort to do
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Yes.
And what makes it a really big effort is that Toei, the animation studio, they're going in and wiping out anyone that releases One Piece episodes. So it's really
Oh, so
difficult.
this sounds
to get
like a
hold of it.
Nintendo kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
we can talk about Nintendo later because there's a whole thing with that too.
They killed the Yuzu emulator.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's essentially what Toei is doing.
Okay.
Is that anybody that posts anything remotely close to their intellectual property, it gets shut down really quickly.
Yeah,
They
I
just-
don't know how laws are in Japan, but I know like in the U.S. people claim
It's
like
way
fair
more
use,
harsh.
but I don't even really.
It
Yeah.
is way more
know what
harsh.
that
I
is.
mean, what if they just raided Comic-Con and started grabbing people that were dressed as Luffy and Pink Flamingo?
One of the main like entertainment industries out there is anime and manga,
Yeah.
or at least in Japanese.
Yeah.
Or in Japan, I shouldn't say Japanese, but in Japan, that's like one of their biggest sources of revenue.
What's that Japanese state? I'm sorry, country.
My bad.
I can't think of the
Love
name.
culture, please. But since it's huge over there,
Yeah.
they like to keep it under wraps, but there are some bad eggs,
Yeah, definitely.
which I do follow. For the manga readers out there, TCB and OP scans, they're cracking hard on them. They just arrested 3 of them recently.
I saw that. You were
Yeah.
telling me about that. So he works really hard to get his One Piece fix, and his dealers keep getting arrested.
I normally go for the illegal One Piece, but that doesn't mean I don't engage in the legal.
Yeah, no, he buys the volumes, but some people can get a couple chapters early as opposed to waiting like everyone else.
Yeah, I just don't like waiting. I need the fix.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting idea because like if there's still episodes coming out, how's the editor that's making this pace gonna like know what to cut out? What if they cut out something that actually becomes important?
Right. I mean, so what they do is that they grab the original scans, the actual drawing, then they scan them, and then they draw over that, and they translate it before the actual.
This is like even more wild than I thought. This is
Yeah.
like some real espionage.
Yeah.
And then they translate it before the actual company is able to get these things out.
Well, he's talking about how do they edit One Piece without worrying about something that's going to happen later in the story, like how Fox Kids did
no,
it.
it's very faithful to what the manga shows.
Right.
Okay.
They're going off
so
the
if it's-
So
manga.
they do all their research.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So these are
These are real One Piece fans that want the true story told and not have corporate getting their fingers all up in it and trying to like milk it. They want the story to be as intended. For example, I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but there's this one not even a page, just one panel that shows Luffy and another individual punching each other, right? Very small panel. You can read it within 2 seconds and then move on to the next panel. The actual anime from the animation studio made this panel 7 minutes long. You imagine 7 minutes of like,
yeah.
It's just they're going way
Yeah.
too far with it.
Yeah.
And I was just all like, good Lord, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it's just like you waited an entire week, and the actual episode runs about 14 minutes. So that 7 minutes is, cutting away, and you wasted your time waiting for that little piece.
Yeah,
And
it would be hard to recommend you to watching something like that because like you, I'm a fan of One Piece, but I'd get bored too, and you're not even a fan, so like it's hard to recommend something that's gonna stretch a picture out for 7 minutes. You know what I mean?
Have you ever heard
Exactly.
the joke that like, oh, One Piece doesn't get good until like episode 300? Have you heard of that?
I've heard of other shows like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Caleb has finally reached that point where I said, no, don't worry, trust me, it gets good at like 300. And I was right.
And yeah, he is right. So all the people that meme that online where they say like it gets good after 300 episodes, I think One Piece.
Did you find the half piece yet?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
We're at the third pace.
I went to McDonald's, got himself a 2-piece.
You heard of One Piece, but why settle for one?
Actually, 2-piece is a thing. It's like a really bad knockoff of One Piece. You should see it. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Or like, don't even just watch it. Just look at the cover page. It's the
Right.
funniest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and there's some American knockoffs, believe it or not. They'll take the first arc with Dio and Jonathan, but then they'll add the stands to it.
Yeah, and then
And it's
they
in
made a
America.
band called AC/DC.
Yeah.
JoJo did it first, right?
Yeah, for real. That's a ripoff. So, but yeah, it's pretty. I will say I didn't want to exclude B from this one because I did want to talk about the anime now at a certain point, but we can switch over now. So live action adaptation. So we got through with One Piece and it was good, right? I would say it's a good adaptation, and you would say it's a good show, probably,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, like I said, I found it enjoyable. Not much to dislike, I guess.
I'd say
I definitely had my questions because I don't know much about the world or the lore. And like, I don't know. I just like text you one time. I'm like, hey, why are snails phones? And like that was like the one thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a very creative world.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I can get invested as long as like the world is very well.
I mean, you could say the same thing about Harry Potter. I personally don't like Harry Potter, but like there's some weird creatures.
Y'all are related.
No, I actually despise Harry Potter.
There's just some wacky stuff that happens in Harry Potter, and we don't question it there.
I've never seen or read Harry Potter either. So
okay, so in the Lord of the Rings, I'm joking. But I'm just trying to draw a parallel. But sometimes stories don't need to explain certain things. They're just there. It's part of their universe.
Yeah,
I get that. So, but
cell phones are definitely out there though.
Yeah, I mean, you like Star Wars. Why is Andor a show? I don't know. So, but anyway, One Piece live action, I would say, is pretty revolutionary as far as adapting something from cartoon.
It is one of the best adaptations, or the best adaptation that I've seen. And I heard people they're like, "Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho or Rurouni Kenshin."
Yeah, because that Ghost in the Shell movie. You remember that one?
No, with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, that was bad, right? Yeah,
that wasn't it. They did Full Metal Alchemist. That wasn't it. Death Note really wasn't it. You know?
Oh God.
Well, Cowboy Bebop.
So, of all those original shows you listed, in the original anime form, is One Piece probably like at the top end of popularity?
Yeah.
So that was such like an interesting, like, okay, they actually like did well on the biggest. Like,
so if I were to put it into perspective, you know about comic books, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to consider manga to be a comic book, which essentially is, that's what manga means. It would be Superman at the top, number one most popular comic in the world, and then it's One Piece, and then Batman.
Oh, okay.
As far as like global sales goes, So One Piece is very popular. I mean, they made some fair adaptations of Superman, I guess.
Yeah,
not really, but they tried.
Yeah. So
budget isn't the issue.
Right.
They had a lot of money to throw at Superman.
I just want to know what this one. I want to know how did they pull it off? Honestly, because I'm sure
I know how they pulled it off. You want to know?
Ugh.
They allowed the creator to be a part, like as an executive advisor. There was like, I'm the creator. This is my show. And a lot of the times when you see these live action properties come out, they're the creator of the show. He's like, oh, I want it done this way, and corporate is like, no, we want to do it this way. We want to do like what we know is good.
Yeah.
Even though none of them have watched the actual show, and they'll rewrite it in their own way and turn it into some schlock.
Yeah.
And it's awful. But in this show, they made sure to make the creator one of the head like writers of it, or like advisors. If there was a scene that they were going to change up, he would have to give the okay for it.
Yeah.
So he had his hands in it. And I think that's the biggest difference between other live actions and this one.
I was going to say, so let's transition a little bit now to the live action Last Airbender that just
so
came
I
out.
was going to talk. I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah.
Like One Piece's success, live action, gave me hope for Last Airbender.
Yeah,
because I'm a huge Last Airbender fan.
I want to go on the record and say I knew it was going to suck. The Last Airbender.
Okay, here's the thing. It definitely does have its moments.
Yeah,
it has its good. Yeah,
it has its really good. There were two things that I will accept as canon from the live action show, and that was using Sozin's comet to take down the air nomads. That was a beautiful scene. Now we hear about it. We see Gyatso's corpse.
Yeah, seeing it in live action was
but
good.
like seeing them all, and then you have the Anakin scene where all the kids are stuck in a room.
Oh no!
and like my wife and I were watching it, and when that scene happened, my wife was the one that referenced it. I was just thinking it. She was like, "No, Anakin, no!" And I was like,
"There's too many of them. What are we gonna do?"
I was surprised that she was the one that made that joke.
Yeah.
So I'll take that.
And wait, let me guess the other one. Was it Zuko's crew?
Yes, it's Zuko's crew.
That was actually a really good addition.
Really good addition.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? That's canon. I was like, they didn't need to do that, and it was one of the best twists or like changes that they made.
Yeah,
and
that was a really
I'll
meaningful change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay, the live action. I didn't watch the live action adaptation of Last Airbender, but they added a crew to him, gave his crew personality.
So
I'll let you explain.
So like spoilers for like a 15-year-old show, but so Zuko got banished from the Fire Nation. He's the prince.
Yeah, got that.
He got banished for speaking up out during a war meeting, and like he insulted his father and all the generals.
Is he played by Mark Hamill again?
No, but I do.
No,
I
they
do love
actually,
their
like-
casting choice for Ozai.
Yeah.
I think
I
he
feel
was
like
nice.
everyone was casted well. I mean,
Yeah.
but anyway, both in the show and the Netflix adaptation. So Zuko's banished because what he's speaking up against was that like the military plan was, hey, let's sacrifice our legion here as a distraction or something.
the rookies. He was going to
Yeah.
let the freshly enlisted go to the front lines of battle.
But like
Right.
young Zuko had a heart, and he's like, no, we can't just sacrifice them. They're our own countrymen. They have families and stuff.
Yeah.
They're fighting for us. But then like, no, that was what got him banished. And then what they changed in the Netflix adaptation was after the Agni Kai, after his father like scarred him, he's like, why don't you take this legion with you since you care for them so much? And
Yeah, so the people that he was going to send off to die are the people that he sent with Zuko. So he
Okay.
basically banished all of them.
Okay.
And so I was like, whoa, that is such a good change.
Do they have personality, or is it just they're there?
No, it's just that they're there. And I felt
kinda did,
it
I
added
mean,
a lot to Zuko's character.
That does add a lot,
you know?
absolutely. Yeah.
because in the
He's-
original show,
He's just with them.
the crew was just there,
Yeah.
but there's like a whole episode about like the storm and like how they're actually like starting to bond a little
Yeah.
bit. But no, this one gave them like a bigger bonding.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. No, that's great. So now I'm kind of curious. What were the bad things about Last Airbender?
The
When
pacing.
Gran straight up said the intro to all
Word
the
for,
episodes
oh yeah, word for
long
word.
ago, the four nations live together in harmony. I was like, oh Lord, and she spewed all of it out, word for word, and it was so funny.
So she was telling it to the characters.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
She's like
Yeah.
fire.
But she,
you know.
oh no,
So-
really?
She does like the intro monologue.
Yeah.
So she goes fire.
No,
No.
not
Water.
no, I think she was trying to explain what the Avatar is,
Yeah.
right? And so she was like, long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony. And so she can teach Katara and
Sokka or
and
Sokka this time?
They pronounced
They got the names right.
Okay.
Now they did add a season 2 element. They brought the
Oh,
hippies
yeah.
that go into the cave, the
So-
secret tunnel.
Yeah,
Those
yeah. So
guys.
that was my biggest complaint was the pacing was like all over the place.
It was.
So, I think like runtime with the original first season of the cartoon and like this one was actually about the same amount of runtime.
Yeah.
I think. But like
Okay.
my whole thing was like they're running like 4 or 5 different episodes together into one, which just felt like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So they go to Omashu, there's King Boomy, there's Jet's crew,
Jet's in
and
this one?
Secret Tunnel, Cave
Yeah.
of Two Lovers. That
Yeah,
which is,
so
that's a
they-
season 2 thing.
Yeah, so they're doing the secret tunnel. They're doing the crazy engineer and his disabled son
Yes,
that did
yes.
the airbending, right?
Mm.
They're doing that episode. They're doing, like you mentioned, they're doing Jet and his whole crew and his backstory. They're doing all of
These
this
are like
in one
5
episode.
episodes in the original show, and
Yeah.
they're doing it all at once.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
they pulled it together, kind of. You know,
Yeah.
like Jet is
like it's
is against
functional.
The engineer.
It's not the worst disrespect to like Cowboy Bebop was, right? As you mean, like it exists. It's not terrible,
like
or it's not
It
good.
could work if
yeah.
you've never seen the original.
yeah,
Yes.
it could have worked. However, it's still ills in comparison.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Now, one red flag for me, and I know this is what I brought up to y'all before it came out, was like they fired the original creators of
Yeah.
the Avatar show. They got kicked off the live action.
And that's why the One Piece adaptation
Yeah,
was good.
right.
It's because they didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, which
'Cause,
I'm sure.
Like that to me, that was mind boggling. I was like, why would you fire the guy who made who created what you're trying to adapt?
Yeah.
You know, and they kicked him off for creative differences. I was like, where's the difference here? Now I'd understand if he was trying to take it a route the same way that Last of Us took it, where the creator hopped on and tried to change things to make it better. I think his name's Neil Druckmann, and so he's the reason why they changed Bill's character and made that arc have nothing to do with the rest of the show. He's the one that took Sam, the guy and his brother, the brother and the kid,
Oh, yeah.
and they made him like deaf and he can only like do the hand stuff. Like he's the one that did all that stuff. So I can understand if the creator's trying to add changes that he thought would have been better in the main story, but it sucks. But here in this one, I think having the creator on for the live action adaptation would have been so much better. you know.
And that's
Yeah.
everyone's criticism.
Yeah.
Like I
That's-
wasn't gonna expect like a 1-to-1. Like I
No.
don't know, it's like a coin toss. If it's 1-to-1, everyone's just gonna be like, oh, that's exactly a shot for shot of the original. But if they change too much, then it's like that's way too different. So it's
I
like you
do
gotta find a
how
balance.
They did keep some certain elements that I thought were really nice. Or like for example, they're in a bar in one scene, and you can hear people in the background. They're saying, "I heard the Avatar escorted people across a canyon," and so like that was the
Yeah.
Great Divide episode.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
turned it into a joke,
Sure.
and so
Yeah.
they basically
And
said
that's
that
great.
it happens,
Yeah.
but we're just not going to show that portion.
Yeah.
When did the Last of Us adaptation drop off, you think? Because I don't know
At the
about
second game, that's where it dropped off.
no, the live action.
It ends exactly where the game ends.
Yeah.
It's nigh a perfect 1-to-1.
But I will say, like, the show, though, isn't great.
Well,
It's
I mean, we
not.
had our complaints with episode 3 because
Yeah.
it was all filler.
Yeah.
Like
It was filler. Hot take. That was my favorite episode.
Why?
I did enjoy it.
Why?
It was just it was a nice story. I appreciated
It
it.
had nothing to do with the apocalypse.
I didn't. No.
No. So
I just enjoyed it.
here's my problem. They cast Nick Offerman as Bill. And that, I was like, that is a great choice for the game version of the character.
Yeah.
Where he's like, he was already stocking up on supplies before the apocalypse. So when it happened, he's like, perfect, and he's like quipping, he's making, in the game. So they cast Nick Offerman. I was like, I'm excited. That sounds like perfect. But then they changed it to where he's not even the same character. And so I was like, why would we even bother getting Nick Offerman? He didn't play it in a way that I thought did justice to the character.
He didn't
and
get
to,
his famous banter with
yeah. Which if I thought that's what they were going, casting him as
how am
that.
I forgetting her name now?
Ellie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I was like, they cast Nick Offerman. I was so excited for that episode. And he wasn't even that same guy. They just played him as a quiet, shy, scared of people, doesn't like to, and I was like, I just didn't, that was so, why even bother with Nick Offerman? The guy who's sarcastic in real life. Like,
Yeah.
I was thinking perfect because they cast the
You're really
real
thinking
life
about
Bill.
Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Form
They
Bill.
cast Bill as Bill. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but then they changed the character to where you didn't even need Nick Offerman, and that was my problem with it. Was, and I don't always like they changed the source material. That's not always my favorite argument to go to. So that was my biggest thing. Was like, why Nick Offerman if he wasn't going to play that character that way? Why couldn't they cast anybody? Like they could have replaced him with any guy. And it was just a waste of potential for me. It's not so much that my big problem is that they did change it, but they set it up. They cast a character that would have fit that role well, and they just didn't go the route that they set it up to. At least, Anyway, that was my thing.
What would they give that episode to then? Will you just rewrite the entire episode but keep that character there?
No, I thought they should have kept it the way it was in the game.
Like Joel actually meets him, and
Yeah.
they're going across town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's going across town against all these
Yeah.
infected. Like,
And Nick
How am I
Offerman.
supposed to
Yeah.
fix this truck? Or
Yeah.
they stole my battery or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Nick Offerman's being quippy with Ellie. Like I was expecting that, and I was
Yeah.
so excited for that, and they didn't do it, and they changed it.
Well, I mean, it's just his story of how he lived and died. And,
Yeah.
by the
And I
way,
was
here's
like-
my truck. I leave it to you.
And I had this issue with the Ahsoka series too. I was like, this is a really good episode in the wrong show. It's like I thought I was watching The Last of Us, and they don't fight bandits, they don't fight zombies in that episode.
What's
like,
his name? Aiden Christensen.
yeah, right,
That's it.
yeah,
That was the best part of the show
right,
when he
But-
shows up and he's like,
yeah. But now back on Last of Us, I was like, this would be a really good episode in a different show. But like, what does this have to do with The Last of Us? No zombies, no bandits, nothing. It's just a love story.
it's just
It's just a love story.
20 years of them together.
Yeah. Like I'm
I
watching
enjoyed that.
I'm watching The Last of Us. that could have been a limited
Maybe
series.
if they only got like a half hour of the episode.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
They got the whole episode
Yeah.
themselves.
It just wasn't. It just. It didn't fit. Not only was it not what I wanted, which again, not my
I
favorite
was like,
argument.
man, I gotta wait till next week for plot.
Yeah, for plot.
Right.
Thank you. That was my problem. My favorite episode of The Last of Us.
I'll tell you my least favorite portion. Like they could have cut out the entire, like the bandits that are in the city with the brothers. They grabbed this nobody and turned her into like one of the most cartoony villains I've ever seen.
It was funny.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
That was leading to his favorite part, though.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hated it so much.
Oh, I don't know though. The bloater scene was so
okay,
good.
no, the bloater
We
scene was
rewind
great.
that like 2 times.
Yeah, because we're like, oh, here it comes, and we watched the dude get his face ripped open. That was
I
so
have
great.
no problem
Yeah.
with them coming across the bloaters. However,
Yeah.
they did not need a whole side plot of
her.
her.
Looking
No,
for
like
him.
their entire
Yeah.
tribe. Like
Well,
in
I
the
think
game, they're
bandits are-
just like, these are bad guys, and just understand that they're bad
Yeah.
guys, and that they will kill you.
Yeah.
You know, they're ravagers. They're here to fight, and
So-
they want everything. But this one, they just give them
Yeah.
a cartoony villain who's
Yeah.
like, you know, twiddling her fingers, just waiting to kill whoever she can.
Yeah.
Because she can.
And so I think my biggest issue with The Last of Us was they changed things, but they didn't offer a good alternative. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They made Sam, the little brother, they made him deaf, but it didn't add anything. It took away actually his personality.
Yeah, it took away his
Yeah.
personality. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. They
Yeah,
made him
exactly.
deaf.
Yeah,
and it just
exactly.
it makes scenes go on 15
Yeah,
minutes longer than they
it
needed
needs
to be.
Yeah. Now, if you want to cut out parts that don't need to be there, they could have cut out Bill because that's essentially what they did.
Yeah, like
you know?
you can not make the kid deaf,
Yeah.
and then you can get rid of the whole cartoon villain side
Yeah,
plot,
right.
and then you would have gotten the episode that you wanted with Bill.
It was funny too because B texted me because that character that you don't like looked just like my ex's mom. And he was like, tell me who this character reminds you of. And I was like, oh my God. 'Cause I hadn't watched the episode yet at that point. And it was funny. He texted me pictures like,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, that was funny. I'll never forget that. I will say though that
So that's why you were cheering. Yeah, weren't you like cheering like?
Like when
she
the
died.
bloaters like ripping her apart. You're like,
Yeah. That's what you get. You should have let us be together. You and your stupid husband. But
now I can see it.
yeah, so that was funny. But
So now you can even agree with me more that giving her like 40 minutes of speaking time was not necessary.
I liked her, but not because she was good. I liked her because she was trying to act and she wasn't good at it. So it added. Yeah,
That's
she
why I
was
said
cartoony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was super
yeah.
cartoony.
I loved it,
No.
but not because it was good.
No.
Like I agree with you, it was bad, but I liked it because it was schlocky, which I enjoy sometimes.
Did not belong
Yeah.
in the show.
And I agree, but like you know what, like they ruined Bill. Why not make a new character and ruin her? So, favorite episode though, Winter, with what's his name, the guy that tries to put her in a
Is
cage.
it David?
David,
Yeah.
yeah. They did him so much better in the show.
Yeah, I think they did, but
Yeah.
there's like one section I think was done better than the game was whenever Joel like confronts Ellie as she's hacking away at him because like she would have never stopped.
Right.
Like Joel had to like grab her and stop her and say like, no, I'm here. Like I
Yeah.
thought that was done better in the game. Like
Yeah.
acting wise.
Sure.
First of all, I thought Troy Baker like was better than Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, but they did that for star power.
Yeah. I know he was
Yeah.
very monetizable.
He was hot off of Mandalorian, which is basically the same show, just in space.
Yeah, I just felt
Right.
like overall, like emotionally, like the way lines were delivered.
Yeah.
I thought Troy Baker did better.
Oh yeah, and honestly, when because Troy Baker shows up in the show, and
He's an extra.
but he looks like Joel. You know what I mean? Like he not only has obviously the voice, and they mocapped him, but he looks like
he
could have played Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah, like especially like
Yeah.
that, like supposed to be like a more like serious scene whenever like they're talking about like his
Yeah.
daughter, and he's like, you have no idea what loss is. Like when Troy Baker delivered that, like
Yeah.
you felt it. Like
Yeah, and then Pedro Pascal, I'm just picturing him wearing a helmet. You have no idea what loss is.
yeah, no, exactly.
I'm waiting on him to put his jetpack on and go flying into space. You know, but
How did you feel about the casting choice for Ellie?
good. She was great.
You were
Yeah.
fine with
Yeah,
her?
no, that felt
Yeah, felt just like her.
natural.
Yeah.
The dialogue for her was written really well too, so I thought it was really good. Yeah, I thought David was done so much better in the show, and not that he was bad in the game, but in the show, like he had more personality.
There was a lot more screen like
Yeah,
background with him.
yeah, more of his sick nature and his sick personality.
Him leading
really
his
pushed through.
town.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, and like I mean, and then the thing with at the end when he's trying to hold down Ellie in the game, it's implied what he's gonna do next.
he made it obvious.
In the show, in the
no,
show,
it was pretty obvious what he's about to do.
no, but in the show they added dialogue to make it like okay, cool. Like they're not teetering the line. The game I feel like didn't want to go all the way through with it. They wanted to reference it and like you can infer. The show didn't care, and they're like, oh no, he's about to like, Yeah. So
Yeah.
I love that. 'Cause they kept the show, as far as David's character, they were committed. Like, he's not a good person, but you could see the manipulation. It was such a good performance. Like, you could tell he's manipulating his people, and it was good.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So what's the difference between all of them? Well, sometimes keeping the creator of the original source material on is a great thing. Like, work for One Piece. When you kick them off, you get Last Airbender. Terrible. When
They already renewed it for book 2 and 3.
Yeah, which is like, that's easy to do. Like, just 2 more seasons. Netflix has money. But then you get to the middle ground where Last of Us, the guy comes in, the creator, and he wants to be like, I had some ideas, some things I could have done better, differently, and they're bad. So, and it takes away. So I don't know. I don't think it was time for him to bring his notes of regrets and changes. So I don't know.
The whole fact is because you're adapting in the first place. Whatever like you're exposed to first, you're gonna think like, yeah, that's good. If it was ever reversed, like, oh, I saw this first, then it's gonna be, oh, I think what I saw first was better. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a mixed bag. Sometimes keeping them on's great. Sometimes it's not. It didn't fix it. I don't know. So I don't know. No conclusion there. It's like you get lucky. Do you think One Piece got lucky, or do you think it was like just a perfect storm?
Are they gonna do more?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like less than 2 weeks after it came out, the creator, he was like, "Guess what? We just got greenlit." He was like, "Yeah."
They were so confident.
Now, if we're gonna bring up the One Piece live action again, about the character that's coming up in the next season.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about what they're gonna do in the live action?
You talking about the cigar thing?
No.
Oh.
Tony Chopper.
Yeah, Chopper. Yeah. I don't know if he's a Muppet. I mean, I'm all for it.
Like, if they make him a Muppet, I think it'd be one of the funniest things, and I would like kind of rock with it. But if we're looking at this CGI monstrosity, I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it.
I will say the CGI in the live action wasn't the best.
The CGI on Luffy stretching wasn't the best.
Right.
However, like the news coos, like the little birds with backpacks on them, I thought those looked really good.
Yeah.
I felt like CG wise, the fact that he's supposed to be like made of rubber, like made the CG like kind of easy. Like the uncanniness like makes it.
I'd say one of the best scenes that they did is where he shows that he's rubber to Kobe and he like, pulls apart his cheek. I was like, that looks good. But his first punch towards Alvida, I was like, I don't know.
I know. I felt like because like it's supposed to probably look uncanny, it worked for me.
Right.
Okay.
Because he looks uncanny. I mean, that would look ridiculous in real life. So yeah. I don't know. But yeah.
I think Smoker will be fine.
Yeah.
Adding smoke effects isn't
right.
the hardest thing to do, but it's
waiting.
Chopper that I'm worried about.
Who should they? They should cast as Crocodile. They should cast the guy that plays Sandman in Spider-Man 3, Thomas Hayden Church, and just do that as
he might do it.
He would. So Crocodile, he's a sand guy.
Okay.
He's basically.
I think I
Sandman.
actually kind of remember him.
Yeah, he's Sandman.
So I'm not going to give you terrible spoilers, but
we got to wrap it up right there.
The character that I'm referencing is a reindeer who ate a devil fruit that turned him into a human. So he still walks and talks, but he's a reindeer.
What if a human ate that?
Okay, so they've already explained this in the manga, is that if a human ate the human fruit, they would become like an enlightened figure with basically omniscient power. They would just be smart.
Poor Chopper.
Poor Chopper is dumb animal.
Who's also their doctor.
So I mean, he's intelligent. Yeah. He became a doctor as a reindeer.
I like his backstory. The guy that was training him, the doctor, he did the Patrick Star, like, get out of here, you stupid dumb animal. That was a shot for shot remake of that part. So I don't know, it was great. Okay, cool. Thank you, B and C, for hopping on today. We got another episode we're gonna do. I'm excited, but thank you guys for making it work today. It was a tight schedule, but we got it done. Thank you, audience, for joining us this week. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's discussion. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.